Good morning, cadets. Now we are going to discuss very interesting and very important topic, that is change of state. We all know that matter exists in three states: solid, liquid and gaseous state. We are mainly focusing on these three states of matter: solid, liquid and gaseous state. The transition from solid state into liquid state, a transition from one state to another state, is called as change of state. Transition from one state of matter into another state of matter is called the change of state. So for the change of state to take place from solid to liquid, there is exchange of heat from the substance to the surroundings, or from the surroundings to the substance. So first I will write what is change of state. Transition from one state of matter into another state is called change of state. For example, solid, on heating strongly, it starts melting. When it is totally molten, it is converted into liquid state. So on heating solid, usually the solid melts at its melting point and converts it into liquid. And again, after heating solid continuously, the liquid starts boiling, and its boiling point it starts converting into gaseous state. Solid converts into liquid on heating strongly at its boiling point, at its melting point, at its melting point. Liquid starts converting into gaseous on strong heating at its boiling point. So this is a gaseous state. So reverse is also possible. So during this, there is absorption of heat. There is absorption of heat from the surrounding. So the reverse process is release of heat. So when the gaseous state is cooled sufficiently, when a gas like a vapor is cooled sufficiently, then it condenses to form liquid. From liquid, when the liquid is cooled sufficiently, it freezes to form solid. So in the first case, on heating, in the second case it is cooling. Condensation, freezing. On heating, melting takes place, and on boiling, the liquid starts converting into gaseous state. This is what we are already knowing. Now, when there is a change of state from solid to liquid or liquid to gaseous state, there is exchange of heat from the substance to the surroundings. The exchange of heat takes place during change of state from one phase into another phase. Between the substance and the surrounding into the substance. Exchange of heat. So on heating the solid absorbs the heat and at its melting point it converts it into liquid. On heating liquid sufficiently, the liquid starts slowly boiling. Again, on absorption of heat, the liquid starts getting converted into gaseous state after boiling point. If you cool the gas, cooling the gas, when you go on cooling the gas means the gas is releasing the heat. When the gas releases the heat, condensation takes place. On condensation, the gas converts it into liquid. Again, when the liquid on cooling, the liquid is cooled sufficiently, the freezing of the liquid takes place. When the freezing of the liquid takes place, again it gives out the heat. After releasing the heat, freezing takes place, it freezes to form ice. This is how we understand the exchange of heat, absorption of heat or release of heat. This is what we call it as exchange of heat. Now let us understand some of the terms like melting and boiling. Now let us learn this change of state with the help of a simple activity. Take ice cubes in a beaker. Take ice cubes in a beaker and note down the initial temperature before heating it. You all know that when we take ice cube in our palm, slowly the ice starts melting. Complete ice slowly starts melting. Slowly it starts melting and converting into water. There is absorption of heat from our body into the ice. The ice absorbs the heat from our body and we feel very cool. We feel it very cool. It is because our body is at 37 degrees Celsius. Ice may be below 0 degrees Celsius. So there is exchange of heat from our body to the ice. Flow of heat from body or normal human body temperature at 37 degrees Celsius into the ice which is below 0 degrees Celsius. Due to that exchange of heat, the ice starts melting. Similarly, consider a beaker filled with some ice cubes and being heated slowly, gradually it is being heated. Before heating, note down the temperature. Temperature of the ice may be below 0 degrees Celsius. Let us say it is minus 10 degrees Celsius. As you go on heating, you will observe the temperature slowly rising. The temperature slowly rises until it reaches 0 degrees Celsius. At 0 degrees Celsius, when you observe, slowly the ice starts melting into water. Once it attains 0 degrees Celsius, then there is no further rise in the level of mercury. There is no further rise in the level of temperature until the entire ice cube which is taken in this beaker is converted into water. So what happens at 0 degrees Celsius? That is interesting. At 0 degrees Celsius, the ice starts melting. So 0 degrees Celsius is called as the melting point of ice. So this process of solid ice getting converted into liquid water is called as melting. Process of solid like ice melting process. The temperature at which the solid melts to form liquid is called melting point. And melting point of ice, for example, melting point of ice is equal to 0 degree Celsius. So I was stating about this change of state from solid into liquid state. At that moment, what happens? The temperature of the ice and water already coexisting doesn't change at all. The temperature remains same. We will observe steady state. Although we are supplying heat at a constant rate at the same level, although we are continuing to heat until the entire ice cube melts into water, the temperature doesn't rise. That phase is called as melting phase. And what happens during that phase, that is important. The heat that we have supplied, once the melting has started, that heat is utilized for converting the solid phase into liquid phase. Once the solid phase has started converting into liquid phase, the temperature doesn't rise until the entire solid melts into liquid. Right? That heat that is required to convert per kg mass of that solid into liquid at that melting point is called as latent heat of melting. Latent heat of melting. Okay. Now we'll write the melting point is also the point at which both liquid and solid state coexist together. The temperature at which solid melts to form liquid is called melting point, and at this melting point the solid and liquid state coexist together and the temperature does not rise until entire solid melts into liquid. Entire solid melts into liquid. So the thermal equilibrium is attained. The temperature at which the solid and liquid state coexist together in equilibrium, in thermal equilibrium, is also called as the melting point. So melting point of ice is 0 degree Celsius. Once the entire ice is completely converted into water, once the entire solid is completely converted into liquid, then if you continue heating at the same rate, as you continue heating at the same rate, you will observe that the temperature of water starts rising. Until that, the temperature doesn't rise. Then what happened to that? The heat that we have supplied during this phase change, during this change of state mode, during that change of state mode, the heat that we have supplied is utilized in converting the solid state into liquid state. The heat supplied or absorbed during the change of state from solid to liquid at its melting point These are the points. At its melting point is utilized in converting entire solid phase into liquid phase. It means during that phase, the heat that we have continued to supply is utilized in breaking the bonds of solid phase. When the solid phase breaking of the bonds take place, during the solid phase, when the breaking of the bonds take place, then the distance between the particles slightly increase, and as a result the molecules will gain more and more energy, and then it will be converted into liquid state. That's what we are calling it as latent heat of melting. The heat that we are supplied during the change of state from solid to liquid at its melting point is, now we are defining it as the latent heat of melting. So then what is latent heat of melting? We will define latent heat of melting. Amount of heat required per unit mass, amount of heat required per unit mass of the substance of solid, amount of heat required per unit mass of solid to completely convert into liquid at its melting point is called latent heat of melting, or it is also called as latent heat of fusion. So it is denoted by LF, latent heat of fusion. For example, latent heat of melting or latent heat of fusion of ice, it is 3.33 into 10 raised to 5 joule per kg at 0 degrees Celsius. At 0 degrees Celsius. It means if you take 1 kg of ice, 1 kg of ice, then in order to convert 1 kg of ice at 0 degrees Celsius into 1 kg of water at same 0 degrees Celsius, the amount of heat required to change the state from solid to liquid is 3.3 into 10 raised to 5 joule per kg. So SI unit of latent heat is joule per kg. Joule per kg. So in the reverse manner, if for example you have taken water at 0 degrees Celsius, water at 0 degrees Celsius cannot convert itself into ice, so it needs to be cooled. Needs to be cooled means the energy of the water should be released back, it should be given off. So in the same way, if water is taken, 1 kg of water at 0 degrees Celsius, if it has to get converted into 1 kg of ice, that is freezing, it has to convert, means it has to get freezed into 1 kg of equivalent ice, then the amount of heat released to the surrounding, amount of heat released to the environment is 3.33 into 10 raised to 5 joules per kg. This is how we define latent heat. If it is of any mass m, instead of 1 kg, if it is of any mass m, here we have taken per unit mass. If it is of any mass m, then amount of heat supplied is equal to m into that latent heat L. For a substance of mass m, the heat absorbed or released, to change its state from solid to liquid or vice versa, liquid to solid, solid to liquid or solid to liquid to solid, is calculated as Q is equal to m into L. So per kg it is L. Therefore, for any amount of substance m, it is equal to Q equal to m into L. Therefore, L is measured as amount of heat required to change the state from solid to liquid or from liquid to solid during freezing is L equal to Q by m. Therefore, it is measured in terms of joule per kg. Joule per kg. That's how we define latent heat of fusion. So during the conversion of ice into water, the energy is absorbed by the ice. Energy is absorbed from the ice using this source. Energy is absorbed by ice from the source. But when the freezing of water into ice takes place, when the freezing of water water into the ice takes place, then the energy is released, given back to the surrounding. That's how it is called as fusion. Fusion is cooling process. Fusion is nothing but freezing from liquid into solid state. From liquid into solid state, that process is called as fusion. Okay. Now we draw a graph to understand the meaning of this change of state and latent heat. Graphical understanding. Now, if we draw the graph will be looking like this. Once the ice starts melting at 0 degrees Celsius, the temperature of ice doesn't get converted into water. It takes certain time. Say, let us say Tm. Time for melting. So Tm is time taken for melting. I have drawn a graph of temperature versus time. This is in the solid state. To convert solid state into liquid state. Once it is completely converted into water, once it is completely converted into liquid, then slowly the temperature rises. The temperature rises linearly as time increases. At the same rate, when we are supplying the heat using the burner, as time increases, you see the boiling takes place at 100 degrees Celsius. The temperature rises slowly, gradually, and the boiling takes place at 100 degrees Celsius. Once the water starts boiling, what happens? Once the water starts boiling, again the temperature doesn't rise. Afterwards, what happens? It stops. So this we can call it as until certain time, then what happens? The temperature doesn't rise. So this we can take as TB. Temperature, time taken to boil. After time taken to boil, it takes certain time to get completely vaporized. Once it is completely vaporized, then again the temperature of the vapor, the temperature of the steam starts increasing. So this is the process of increasing temperature, process of heating the water until it reaches boiling point. So this becomes the boiling point of water. Boiling point of water, and 0 is the melting point of ice. 0 is the melting point of ice. So it takes some time. So during this process of converting the complete water into steam, this is the phase of steam. Completely when the water is converting into steam, it takes again certain time. So during this time, there is a change of state taking place from water state into vapor state, water state into steam. Change of state from liquid to gaseous state. So this is the temperature versus time graph. Temperature versus time graph to show change of state. Now I will draw temperature versus heat supply. That will be more clear than this. Here it is telling you only about the time. Temperature versus heat. Now look at the graph. Now I have drawn temperature versus heat graph. Heat is along x-axis, temperature is taken along y-axis. Consider again, as we have done the activity, the ice being taken below 0 degrees Celsius. As we go on heating gradually, if you draw the graph, as heat increases, the melting of ice, that is it's not melting, the increasing temperature of the ice takes place until it reaches say 0 degrees Celsius. Let us say we have started heating from minus 10 degrees Celsius. From minus 10 until it reaches 0 degrees Celsius, heat is increased from this value to this particular value. So after reaching this particular value, then melting of ice into water starts taking place. When the melting of ice takes place at its melting point 0 degrees Celsius, there is no change of state. I mean, suddenly there is no increase in temperature. You will see the temperature remaining same during this change of state from solid to liquid. So this is what we call as the amount of heat required per unit mass as a latent heat of ice. Latent heat of ice is, as I have written, latent heat of ice, it is also called as latent heat of fusion of ice, is 3.33 into 10 raised to 5 joule per kg. In the CGS units, it is very easy to remember, 80 calorie per gram, 80 calorie per gram. This is in CGS unit. If you take 1 gram of ice, it requires 80 calorie to convert that 1 gram of ice at its melting point 0 degrees Celsius into 1 gram of water. That is the latent heat of fusion in CGS unit for 1 gram of water. That is this one. Once it gets so much of heat, 3.33 into 10 raised to 5 joule per kg or 80 kilocalorie per kg, 80 kilocalorie per kilogram, then afterwards the complete conversion of solid into liquid ice, liquid water takes place. Conversion of ice into water takes place. Once it has reached state of water, then the temperature starts increasing as we go on supplying heat. As the water starts absorbing heat, the temperature of water starts rising. So the temperature of water starts rising until it reaches 100 degrees Celsius. The temperature starts rising linearly. At 100 degrees Celsius, again, there is no rise in temperature. This process is boiling process. Once it reaches boiling point, here 100 degrees Celsius, boiling point, then what happens? Even though if you continue heating, there is no further rise in the level of heat. There is no further rise in the level of temperature. Temperature doesn't rise. So after getting sufficient heat, once the water is completely converted into steam, the steam vapor state starts increasing its temperature. Temperature of the vapor state will increase once the water is completely converted into steam. That is called as latent heat of vaporization. Latent heat of vaporization, in the same way we can define amount of heat required per kg of substance, per kg of liquid, to completely convert it into state of vapor at its boiling point. So latent heat of vaporization for the water is about 540 calorie per gram. 540 calorie per gram. In terms of SI units, it is 22.2. I think 22.6. 22.6 joule per kg. 22.6 joule per kg. So much of heat is required. Once it gets so much of heat, then what happens? Further, there is a conversion of the water at its boiling point into vapor state. This is vapor state, that is steam. So then the temperature of steam increases. The temperature of steam increases more than 100 degrees Celsius. Right? So water at boiling point will be at 100 degrees Celsius. But steam at 100 degrees Celsius, you just look at it. The steam at 100 degrees Celsius will be having this excess heat of latent heat of vaporization, 22.6 joule per kg. That's why steam burns are very serious rather than water burns. Why the steam burns are very dangerous? Reason is steam burns are more serious, more dangerous than water at 100 degrees Celsius is because the steam at 100 degrees Celsius is having excess energy, that is latent heat of vaporization, 22.6 joule per kg. That's why steam burns are very, very serious, very dangerous. So now we can define what is latent heat of vaporization. Before that, what is boiling point? Boiling point is the temperature at which the liquid state changes into vapor state or gaseous state. Vapor means gaseous state. Is for boiling point, and both liquid and gaseous states coexist together. Coexist together in thermal equilibrium. At this boiling point. So the temperature at which the liquid state changes into vapor state on heating strongly, and both liquid and gaseous states coexist together in thermal equilibrium until the entire water gets converted into steam. The temperature doesn't rise. That is, boiling point of the water doesn't rise. The boiling point of the steam also doesn't rise until it is completely converted into vapor state. So that is called latent heat of vaporization. The latent heat of vaporization is the amount of heat required per kg of liquid to convert it into gaseous state at its boiling point. So that's how we define latent heat. Latent heat of vaporization. Latent heat of vaporization is denoted by LV. V for vaporization. The amount of heat required per unit mass of liquid is completely changed into its vapor state at its boiling point. This is called as latent heat of vaporization. For example, latent heat of vaporization at its boiling point of water at 100 degrees Celsius of water is equal to 22.6 joule per kg of water at 100 degrees Celsius. It means if at all you take 1 kg of water at its boiling point, the amount of heat required to completely convert that 1 kg of water at its boiling point into its vapor, into its steam of 1 kg at the same temperature, it is 22.6 joule. So much of 22.6 into 10 raised to 5. Correction here, 22.6 into 10 raised to 5. Right here, 22.6 into 10 raised to 5 joules. Quite higher than this 80 calorie per gram. So in terms of calorie, it becomes 540 joule per gram. 500 calorie joule per gram, or you can also write 540 kilojoule per kg. Kilojoule per kg. So this is in joule. So this is in calorie per gram. Calorie per gram, and this is in kilocalorie per gram. Kilocalorie per gram. Okay. So in the next video, we will learn about the dependence of pressure. We have just stated what is a melting point and what is boiling point. These melting points and boiling points are discussed at normal pressure, that is at standard pressure. So they are called as normal melting point and normal boiling point. What happens if the pressure changes? That we will discuss in the next video. Thank you.